Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm back. It's been a while since I last uploaded, but I'm going to get into this video here, and today I'm going to be talking about the race for the MVP of the 2021 Overwatch League season. Very recently, the Overwatch League MVP candidates for this season have been announced, so in this video I'm going to be covering who they are, and my thoughts on each one of them in a low level of detail. I'll have more detailed videos coming out on every single Overwatch League candidate in the near future, so stay tuned for them and make sure you subscribe and like this video if you want to see them come soon. But without further ado, let's reveal the candidates. What you'll notice about the candidates here are the teams that have done well have got a lot of MVP candidates, and the teams that haven't done so well have got none, which makes a lot of sense. We've seen this quite often in the past, as how can a player shine so well if their team is losing game after game? So the first three candidates I'm going to be talking about are all from the Dallas Fuel. We've got Fearless, Hanbin and Sparkle. Going through these players one by one, we'll start with Fearless. Now, Fearless was an early favourite for the MVP race. It feels very recent that everyone was saying he would be MVP, but if you actually think about it, it was at that very first tournament where he really made a name for himself and put his name into this hat. If we were doing an MVP for Stage 1 alone, I think everyone unanimously would say it's got to be Fearless. But the thing is, we're not giving it for Stage 1 alone. Since then, Fearless has sort of been slipping in play. I'm not saying he's bad, or I'm not saying he's got bad, I'm just saying he's had a lot less flashy plays than we saw in that first stage. This isn't helped by the fact that in this recent tournament he's had to play Wrecking Ball and is trying to pick up a hero that we haven't seen from him in the past and didn't look too successful. If Winston could be played all season long, then Fearless would be playing it all season long. I personally feel that this is actually a negative for an MVP to have. While he will pop off whenever he plays Winston and be the very best on that hero, I think an MVP should really be able to show us skill on a range of heroes and be performed at an extremely high level, rather than just playing a couple of heroes extremely well, as Fearless does. But then again, you might disagree with this. You might think all that matters is how well a player can play on a specific hero, which you can have that opinion. If you have that opinion, comment it down below and tell me why. If you guys vote for Fearless for MVP, I totally understand it, but I'm not quite sold on him when I look at the other candidates here. However, I would have him in the conversation for the favourites to win this MVP candidacy. Next though, let's move on to Fearless's Dallas Fuel friend, Hanbin. Now, some casual viewers of the Overwatch League might be shocked to hear Hanbin's name here, as when you watch casters comment on games, they don't say Hanbin's name a lot. When you see the Dallas Fuel play, it's usually the two other Dallas Fuel candidates for MVP that you're hearing. But go back and watch some VODs and watch Hanbin play. Ever since he joined the Paris Eternal last season, he has been possibly the best off-tank in the league. And having him here in the MVP race is not a shock to me whatsoever. Last season, I thought this guy was extremely spectacular, and it could be a result of playing on a top tier team, or it could just be his skill leveling up, but I really think this guy has become extremely good this season. At times he's put this team on his back, which you might be shocked to hear when you look at the other players on the Dallas Fuel roster, but he really has. If you think Hanbin should be MVP, I once again totally understand this. I don't think he'll win it, however, because more casual viewers won't really be hearing his name as much being called by the casters, which could be a negative for Hanbin, as viewers that vote won't be spending the time to watch back his gameplay and watch how extremely good he is on a range of heroes, which was sort of the downfall I had for Fearless. Let's move on to the third and final Dallas Fuel player, Sparkle. Sparkle has shocked, I think, each and every single Overwatch League viewer this season. We all knew he was a beast. We all knew he was the world's best Genji. We all know he was one of the world's best Doomfists. But my god, who expected this guy to whip out the Tracer and be one of the best in the league on it? Not just that, we've seen Pharah from him at the end of this season, and we've seen his faithful Genji throughout the season. I mean, Sparkle has just shown levels of flexibility that only the true GOATs of the Overwatch League have previously achieved. Not only has he been flexible, which other players on this list can't do, but he has been performing at such a high level on every single hero he plays, which was such a shock for us going into this season. I thought Sparkle would be the specialist for this team and Doha be flexing around him, but no, Sparkle's been in there all the time, flexing onto different things. I almost forgot, he had possibly the best echo when he played it in the league. Well, that's all I need to say about Sparkle. I can't put my finger on the downfall of this guy. If you vote for him for MVP, I am not surprised. I support that decision. I still have some thinking to do about who I'm going to vote for, but Sparkle is definitely one in my mind. Now that I've spoken about one of the teams that has the majority of players in the MVP race, I'll speak about the other one. The Shanghai Dragons also have got 3 players up in this race. The first of which being the returning champion, Fleta. Now, I don't need to go over why Fleta is incredible. I've basically just been singing the praises of the Dallas Fuel players for this whole video, and I don't want you to think the fact I'm not talking about these guys being so good is because I think they're worse than the Dallas Fuel players. I just need to get that out of the way. Every single player on this list is extremely good, and every player on this list, I have to say, is a great choice by the casters and everyone who had a decision in who was up for this race, as I struggled to think of a player I'd like to see in there here instead of one that is here that I haven't. But Fleta, anyway, I'm getting a bit off topic. Fleta from the Shanghai Dragons. Why should he be MVP for the second time? Well, pretty much. It's the exact same reasons as last season. I was just talking about how flexible Sparkle was and how impressive that was. But Fleta's been doing the exact same flexibility, just we expected it from him. I think Fleta and Sparkle have actually performed similar levels on similar heroes this season. The difference is Sparkle is seen as a greater player, as we weren't expecting that from him. He shocked us with what he could do, whereas Fleta, it's just become the norm for Fleta to absolutely bench press his team. And while I'm confident I won't be voting for Fleta, you can. You can make this guy a 2-time MVP. I'm not joking here. He has an argument to be made for him, which, when I go over these players in more detail, I will be doing. I'll be telling you why you can vote for Fleta and why he could be the 2-time MVP. But now we'll move on to his friend at the Shanghai Dragons, his DPS duo, in fact, Lip. And I think Lip actually is one of the other favourites in this MVP race to win it. Now, when I was talking about Fearless, I talked about how good his stage 1 was and why he was the MVP of that stage. But Lip, while the Shanghai Dragons didn't win that stage, was still up there for the MVP candidate after the tournament. But since then, he hasn't sort of fallen off and trickled down, fizzled out, as Fearless has. He's just got better and better and better. We all knew this guy was one of the best Sombras in the league, but he's also played all the hit scans. But honestly, the most impressive thing from this guy is a similar one to Sparkle. His Tracer has just come out of nowhere and dominated the league. No one knew this guy had a good Tracer, although we were sort of expecting it from such a high caliber player as Lip is. We haven't quite seen a ton of ranged hit scan from Lip this season, but we saw that last season. He's proved to us that he can play the ranged hit scan, although we considered that DM's job, but whatever, we've still seen it from Lip. Like, I can't think of a flaw in this guy's gameplay as like similar to Sparkle. I think these guys are in a very similar boat, Lip and Sparkle, and I think right now, of the players I've spoken about, they've got to be the favourites to win this. Now though, we'll quickly move on to the last player of the Shanghai Dragons that is up here. The best flex support in the league, without a doubt. Anyone that says otherwise is wrong. It's Izzyaki. I've basically said it all in that introduction. Izzyaki has been the best flex support in the league this season. He's not just been good or average or consistent as some of the other players up here have been. No, he just has seriously, at every point in the season, looked like the best flex support. And that is truly saying something. Flex support is one of the most contested roles, one of the most influential roles, one of the easiest roles to pop off on. And that sounds like a negative for this guy, but no. When everyone on flex support is going to be popping off, this guy is shined through, just emphasising how incredibly good he is at the game. We've seen a phenomenal bat from him, a great Zen, great Ana as well. He has it all. And go ahead, vote for Izzyaki. I'm not going to stop you. No one should stop you if you're rooting for this guy to win it, because he definitely has a case to be made. Now, there's 4 players left from this list, and all of them are from different teams, which is a really interesting thing. I'll start off with the one I found most unexpected, as, to be honest, I didn't think casters and people in the Overwatch League would be supporting this guy to win it. But I'm all for it. I'm here for Profit for MVP. I mean, I'm not voting for him, I'm just here for it. Before I start talking about Profit in depth, I do have to get this out of the way. He has had a great season. I'm mainly going to be talking about why I want this guy to win for historical reasons, but this season, I don't want to diminish his accomplishments. Profit has been truly phenomenal. We've known he's been one of the best tracers. We've known he's been one of the best projectile players. But how many games has he played on McCree? What? They are literally making Profit the most flexible player in the league, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. We've seen him play full-time hit scan rolls. He's not just flexed onto it for no reason. We've seen him play full-time projectile rolls, which is his comfort pick, generally. He is the flex god. The flex god. I mean, I was talking about how flexible Sparkle was coming into his Dallas Fuel roster. When I was talking about those goats of the Overwatch League being flexible, I was talking about Profit. He can play anything. Give this guy a couple of hours to pick up something, and I promise you, he's going to dominate the APAC region with it. So that's why there's a case being made this season for Profit, but also historically. I mean, Profit is like the GOAT of the Overwatch League. I'm going to stand by that. I can make a video on it if you want me to. Comment it down below if you do. And he needs to be MVP. I'm sorry, but please, now or in the future, just give this guy the MVP. I don't care. If one season there are no good players, even if Profit's having a bad season, if there's no one that deserves to be MVP, just give it to Profit, please, for my sake, for every Profit fan's sake. Like, come on, look at this guy. Look at him. Definition of consistency, season by season by season. When London Spitfire were doing absolutely garbage on GOATs, he was shining through. Not just on GOATs. When London Spitfire were doing garbage in their championship season, he was popping off. And now on the Seoul Dynasty, he looks unstoppable. I have not seen Profit get dominated in any sort of 1v1 throughout a game. Like, in no game has his counterpart on the other team been better than him. And I'm saying that on every hero. Tracer, we'd expect that from him. McCree. I just have to say that again. McCree. Alright, let's move on though. I've spent way too long on Profit. Next up though, we've got Shu from the LA Gladiators playing flex support again. And listen, it's going to be tough for me to talk about Shu after I've already spoken about Izayaki, but I'll give it a go. Let's go Shu. Shu's their second best flex support in the league. Nah, it doesn't sound that good, does it? I'll try though. Shu has been on the LA Gladiators, which I think people still kind of have a pre-season feeling about. They're still talking about them as a top team because we thought they would be a top team. Now, admittedly, they have gone to Hawaii in the Countdown Cup, alright, which kind of foils my whole spiel. Anyway though, the LA Gladiators haven't been a great team this season, which is why I'm quite shocked to see Shu here. I mean, the worse of a team you're on, the harder it is to get noticed for an MVP nomination. And the fact Shu's made it here just proves to us he must be doing something right. He must be showing us that he is a great player on this team that has not met expectations. Which he has. I mean, he's been popping off in pretty much every game he plays in. The problem is, Izayaki's also here. And I find it personally difficult to talk about Shu without mentioning Izayaki being on the list as well, as I feel like he has got one step up. It's especially difficult when we haven't actually seen the LA Gladiators play the Shanghai Dragons all season. We haven't got to see these guys battle it out for who really is the best flex support in the league. But I will say, I think it is these two guys. Alarm could be chucked in the conversation as well, but I think the easiest cases to be made are Izayaki and Shu to be the two best flex supports this season. Alright guys, we're almost there. The last two players for MVP nominations, and we're going to start things off with Pelican. Now, Pelican is the only rookie on this list, which I love to see. Last season we did see quite a large amount of rookies, if I remember correctly, on the MVP nominations list, and this just proves to us Pelican should be Rookie of the Year this season at the very least. He has been outstanding on Echo. In that first stage, when Atlanta Reign weren't quite the dominant force they are right now, Pelican proved to us that he was still incredible, and as Atlanta Reign just built up their talent, just got better and better and better, and made consistent tournaments, Pelican just upped his play every single time. Pelican is one of the players on this list of MVPs that, when I think about a team without this candidate, where would they be? And when I think about the Atlanta Reign without Pelican, I see a middle-of-the-pack team at best. I'm not exaggerating in that statement. I think, if you think about it, people can all agree with me. And Pelican hasn't been playing recently for medical reasons, and he won't be playing for a bit longer. And I think we're really actually going to see here what sort of a difference Pelican has made to the Atlanta Reign. Now we're here, we're on the very final candidate. And I've saved best till last, in my opinion, Leave. When you talk about the impact a player has made to a team, there is not a bigger impact than Leave on the Chengdu Hunters. I predicted at the start of this season that it would be difficult for DPS players to stand out. As players as a whole got better, it would be harder for these aggressive players to get value, but somehow Leave has shown me that bloodthirsty DPS can still pop the hell off game after game. We know Leave is flexible. I've already spoken about other players on this list being flexible. They probably are more flexible than Leave is. But Leaf has a perfect balance of being able to play a good range of heroes, but also having a phenomenal level of mastery on every single character he picks up. It's not just like every hero he plays the team can get by with and it's all good. No, whenever Leaf plays any hero, he makes a visible impact in the game. His Tracer has been one of the best in the league, and when he has to play it, because Jinmu's playing something else, his Sombra has also been phenomenal. We know his Echo is already spectacular, and his McCree is also superb. If I right now had to vote for someone, I'd vote for Leave. I'm going to do a bit more thinking on that because it might be a bold statement, but recently, especially now that Chengdu have started doing really, really well in these tournaments, Leave is just showing me so much more that he is MVP worthy. Thanks so much for watching the whole video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share it to all of your friends. I hope you like the new channel art, the new banner, the new profile picture, and the new name. I've called myself Overwatch Bulb so that I can expand further into other genres on different channels, so I can be like Valorant Bulb or something. Don't worry, I'm not going into Valorant just yet. I need to learn more about that. But yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one. Goodbye.